welcome. I'm Ethan Liu, and here's what happened this week. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council Minister says Taiwan is the first line between democracy and authoritarianism as China seeks to expand its global influence.
If Taiwan were to be taken over by China by force, it will trigger a domino effect, undermine the regional balance of power, and direct threat the security and the prosperity of the United States.
Cho Trajan was speaking at the Heritage Foundation think tank in the United States. Cho said Beijing's goal in taking Taiwan is to eliminate U.S. influence in the Asia-Pacific and ultimately replace the United States as the global leader. He also said China is actively preparing for war. Cho called on China to stop its military intimidation of Taiwan and instead engage in dialogue with the Taiwanese government. He said Taipei is committed to maintaining the cross-strait status quo. What should Taiwanese people do if China were to invade? A new guidebook from Taiwan's National Security Council aims to answer that question. Tiffany Wong takes a look at what's inside.
With its bright cover and illustrations, this may look like a children's book, but the information it contains is deadly serious. It's a guide on what to do in the event of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. Reuters got a first look at the newest initiative from Taiwan's National Security Council to prepare its citizens for a day they hope will never come.
我们必须要在手册当中很清楚告诉全民，就是台湾并不会屈服于任何军事威权的侵略。好，那我们并不会投降。好，这个概念必须要让所有民众都能够建立起这样的心法。
The booklet contains essential information on how China might attack Taiwan, from sabotage like severing undersea communication cables to an all-out invasion. It tells readers which radio stations to tune into for emergency alerts, where to find bomb shelters, and what supplies to pack in a go bag. Defense officials hope that the more people understand the threats they face and the actions they can take during wartime, the better they'll be able to react if the time comes.
那另外特别我们也强调千万不要上传国军的这些行动这些影片或者是拍摄这样会泄露国军的行迹对这个国军的防卫作战是不利的所以我们这个也是提醒民众，除了要保护自身的安全然后也要这个确保相关的作为跟规定，然后来支持我们的军事作战。
And learning how to react in an emergency is something everyone can do starting from a young age. The book gives guidance to parents on how to discuss these sensitive issues with their kids.
我们其实也希望能够提供一些基本的指引，让爸爸妈妈能够更轻松的去跟小朋友做说明。那当然目的不是要让大家感受到害怕，而是这些所有的。 内容都是希望能够让民众在真正危机发生的时候，你有一个更好的应对的方式。
With China's ongoing threats to take Taiwan by force, the NSC hopes this booklet can help prepare citizens for the worst-case scenario, so that they can protect themselves and the country. Alex Chen and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
A big deal between Taiwan and the U.S. may be coming soon. That's according to U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who put Taipei on his short list as he outlined his current trade priorities.
I think India will sort it out once they stop buying Russian oil. We've got a big deal coming with Taiwan. We'll probably get a deal done with Switzerland. You know, Switzerland will sort its way out over time. You know, we'll see how that works out. But those are countries that are still out there.
Lutnick gave no further details about the potential deal. Taiwan has been pushing for an agreement to reduce the 20% U.S. tariff on most of its goods that took effect August 7th. Taipei is also bracing for potential semiconductor duties under Section 232, a national security tariff probe run by the U.S. Commerce Department. Responding to Lutnick's comments, Taiwan's Office of Trade Negotiations said bilateral talks are progressing.
台美双方的关税谈判都持续推进，我们也努力争取将对等关税及232关税合并处理。那我们双方都认为，目前的谈判都有一定的进展，现在只是等待美方安排总结性的会商。
The office says it hopes a proposed tariff relief package will be passed by the legislature. This year's Semicon Expo is wrapping up after a week of exhibitions, forums, and events. Reporter Chris Gorin was on the show floor to take us inside a theme that is shaping the industry's next moves.
As one of the world's largest chip trade shows in the world, Semicon opened on Wednesday. Organizers highlighted Taiwan's role in critical semiconductor technologies. The country provides the vast majority of the world's most advanced chips, which power phones, PCs, and the AI boom. One big focus for the show has been advanced packaging for chips. But what is that?
大部分人都知道说晶圆几奈米，比如说从过去的5奈米、3奈米一直进步到2奈米，越往下做呢，它的技术困难度越高，成本越高。晶圆制程遇到的一些瓶颈之后呢，它就要转往封装，来解决这样子的问题。
Modern chips are really a team of chips, compute, memory, and other parts on interconnected layers in an arrangement known as 2.5D. While so-called 3D packaging relies on vertical stacking of parts, bringing them closer for faster connections that use less power and space.
There's still demand for chips getting smaller and cheaper, more efficient, especially now that AI is demanding more and more compute at a faster rate of improvement than ever before. And it's getting harder and harder at the same time to scale in the traditional way, which was 2D. Right? Instead of making the floor plan smaller, why don't we add more floors to the skyscraper?
Assembling and testing these tiny packages is highly technical, and AI demand has kept capacity tight. That's led some of Taiwan's chip-making giants like TSMC to expand their own capacity, aiming to more than double its popular chip-on-wafer-on-substrate or CoWoS packaging output this year. It's outlined plans for 2 advanced packaging sites in the U.S. state of Arizona, while its American partner Amkor is also building a $2 billion packaging plant in the state. Despite those expansions, Taiwan remains the most important location in the world for a packaging market expected to reach nearly $80 billion by 2030, due to its localized ecosystem of the entire chip supply chain.
那台湾能够提供的供应链还是在全球是最完整的。那当然，整个供应链在全球是各个地方都有需要啦，也不是只有台湾。但是台湾它能够提供的 solution 是最多的。
Taiwan are the main focus to the world, based on no matter you can see here, CMP, PVD, lithography, of course. And the reason why it's important because TSMC helped them or co-work with them so much. So this company will gonna grow with so much talent, so much intelligence in it.
That close-in supply chain, tools, materials, packaging, and talent in one place is why Taiwan still holds the lead in semiconductors, even as designs grow more complex and power efficiency becomes central. This year's Semicon is focused on key technologies that are the building blocks of the next wave of computing, and how one country is determined to secure its place at the heart of it all. Alex Chun and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
A delegation from the French Africa Foundation is visiting Taiwan's biggest chip industry event, Semicon, to see how they can turn around perceptions about Africa's role in the chip industry. Leslie Liao spoke with one of the delegation members, Tolu Ogunlesi, to find out more about their goals.
When they first presented you this opportunity to come to Taiwan, what was the mission? What was the reason that you decided to come to Taiwan? What drew you to this place?
You know, look at the name, France, Africa. So it's been about connections. And so this was just another opportunity to connect. This time to take France and Africa and connect to Taiwan. And what better point of connection than Semicon? Taiwan is a global superpower in hardware, in semiconductors, and it's just the most obvious, the most natural thing to take Semicon as the point of the connection. Apart from attending Semicon, we've also had visits to Foxconn, Quanta, Yageo, and then of course the arts, the culture side. We've seen a bit of of town, you know, visited 1 or 2 temples. Like it's been a whole immersion in Taiwan, and it's been immensely insightful and fascinating.
What are some of the things that, after being in Taiwan, you've learned or you've taken away from this trip?
One of the things I think that stood out to me is how Taiwan manages to blend the old and the new. You know, so on one side you have, I mean, there's nothing more cutting edge than semiconductors. And but on the other side, there's nothing more sort of like historic than some of the temples, you know, and some of the older parts of the city that have been maintained and preserved. And I think there's a big lesson especially for us from Africa. There's a lot of inspiration, a lot of hope, a lot of lessons to judge that, and we feel like if Taiwan can do it, then it should be possible in our countries as well.
How would you go about taking what you've learned from this trip in Taiwan here, going back to your home of Nigeria, and then spreading the message there?
I think one of the things that has stood out for me this week, or one of the big lessons, is just how much of Taiwan is in our daily lives, in our mobile phones. You know, I didn't think of that before coming here. That, you know, every time I put my computer on, or use my mobile phone, or use any electronic device, you know, there's a lot of Taiwan in those things. And so I think I feel a more visceral connection, you know, and definitely that's one of the messages I'm going to be taking back.
That was Talu Ogunlesi from the French Africa Foundation. Hundreds of pieces of art from Taiwan, including the famous Jadeite cabbage, are on display in Prague for the first time. It is part of a collaboration between Taiwan's National Palace Museum and the Czech Republic. Irene Lin reports.
In Prague, all eyes are on Taiwan's national treasure, the Jadeite cabbage. In its exhibition, 100 Treasures, 100 Stories, Taiwan's National Palace Museum is showing off some of its most famous pieces in the heart of Europe. It's the first time the collection has been shown in the city, and the first time it's been abroad in over a decade. Taiwan's Foreign Minister Lin Jialong and Cultural Minister Li Yuan joined Czech officials at the opening ceremony.
When I was in Taiwan, I saw the pork. And now I finally saw cabbage, so I have it complete, I have to say. It's really beautiful. We are very, very happy to have this opportunity, and it's really friendship when we have such a great partners in Taiwan who have, you know, trust in us.
Taiwan has been working to introduce its culture in Europe this year. Earlier in June, the foreign minister took a European delegation to watch an original musical about Dutch colonial history in Taiwan. And now this exhibition in Prague signals a continuation of cultural exchanges between Taiwan and the Czech Republic. The National Palace Museum's director says it only lends its most precious pieces to its true friends.
这次展览非常具有很大的象征意义，就是台捷文化交流另外一次重大的一个里程碑。提出策划捷克文物的展览到台湾展出，那国立故宫博物院未来将持续开放的态度。
Foreign Minister Ling's stop in Prague is part of a 10-day tour around Europe to strengthen Taiwan's ties. The ministry has kept its schedule a secret to prevent interference. The exhibition runs through December 31st. Enough time, officials hope, to introduce Taiwan's multifaceted cultural heritage, first to Prague, then to the world. Fu Huahong and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching Here's What Happened. Finally, today we take you to London for the opening of the Taipei Representative Office's new location in the UK. I'm Ethan. Take care and see you next week.